let's get this going. The first case we have tonight is case number 0520 Wall Street Development for Dupy Street. And at this point, I know we have the applicant with us tonight, and we had engineering peer review. The zoning board had requested $9,950, and the applicant has provided the zoning board with $4,950. So there's still $5,000 remaining on that balance for engineering peer review. Mr. Petrozzi, do you want to tell us where we are on that?
Well, we are where we are. I submitted some funds for the review of the project based on the proposal that was submitted by, I believe it was Tetra Tech. There were some aspects of the proposal that I didn't find applicable, particularly meeting attendance, where somebody's going to charge $1,250 to attend the meeting. 2 meetings, $2,500. I didn't find that to be an appropriate expense that Wall Street should be responsible for. I am willing to reconsider the proposal submitted for the traffic review. So I'm willing to add to that, to the funds that were previously paid to cover a traffic review as outlined in the proposal, but I think $2,500 to attend meetings is 2 meetings is very unreasonable.
Okay, we also have the design peer review, and we have requested that a revised scope to be more proportional to the size of the project that would result in input from the applicant. You've already provided that, and the revised scope requests the range of $4,000 to $7,000, and we'd recommend $4,000 in additional funds be requested. So that's for the design peer review. So one of the things at this point, we need to get if you want this to move forward, which I'm sure you do, we need to get these funds within 7 days, or the ZBA will have to look at other, availing ourselves to other provisions in our rules and regulations. So.
Well, you haven't even had a hearing. I mean, you haven't even allowed us to present the project yet, and you're asking for a peer review based on what we should be planting, what the exterior materials should be, integrating the site with parking. I mean, this is, we don't mind paying for review, technical review of the project, which are germane to the board's evaluation of the project. But I think to engage an outside firm to redesign our project is totally inappropriate, and we're not in the frame of mind that we're going to pay somebody to tell us what we're going to be planting and what we're painting our buildings, what we're using for exterior elements, what our energy efficiency is going to be. We're just not going to pay for that kind of evaluation. We're more than happy to provide funds for technical review. That's important to the board to evaluate the project, but we're not going to pay for some guy that's used to doing projects in Brookline to come to Walpole and tell Wall Street how to design a 6-building project. It's just not appropriate, and it's not really about the money, because I appreciate the fact that you've reevaluated the scope of the project and reduce the amount of money that is required. But in principle, this proposal is completely out of bounds.
Okay, at this point, we've outlined what we need to move this forward, and we need to get these funds from you to move it forward. We're notifying you that you've got 7 days to provide the ZBA with these funds, and that's to provide peer review of the engineering and other things that the board deems necessary to evaluate this project.
Well, how is the board deem that necessary when you haven't even heard our presentation?
We've looked at the project and taken a look at the engineering, and these are questions that we'd have for any project. So it's in the normal scope of a project review. George, do you have any guidance on this?
You're muted, George.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and members of the board. Thanks, Ashley, for pointing out that I was on mute, which is a good thing for me normally. But Mr. Chair, I don't really have much to add about it. I mean, you have valid regulations for peer review of these projects, you know, under Section 53G funds. You're not treating this applicant any differently than a non-40B. And, you know, the scopes of services are in line with the DHCD regulations for appropriate peer review of a 40B. You know, all things being equal is better if you can possibly work it out with the applicant that, you know, he or she is happy with the sum that they're depositing and there's not going to be an issue and everybody's agreed to the scope and it just goes forward. You know, barring that, you have to exercise your rights. So you're going to have to put the applicant on notice of the specific fees that you're seeking and give them the chance to either deposit it or put the ball back in your court about what you want to do for the consequence of not funding it. I mean, you can't really, it's difficult to get into a situation where you're, you know, negotiating back and forth on the scope of peer review if it's generally acceptable and, you know, within the scope of the regulations for review of a 40B project. You can't really have the applicant dictating what that peer review is going to be unless it's far afield or there's some ethical issue or something like that. So, you know, hopefully the issue can be worked out and the applicant can be happy about the amount on deposit. Other than that, you know, I'd recommend that you just continue it and then decide what to do if you don't have those funds deposited at that time. It's up to you if you want to hear about a, you know, an initial presentation of the project from the applicant before you make that decision. That's entirely up to you if you want to schedule that for the next time.
Yeah, I think we're just going to deal with the, tonight we're just going to deal with the peer review. Judy, you were shaking your head. Anything else to add on that?
No, I would just, you know, I mean, echo and support what town council said and point out that the statute's very clear about the areas of jurisdiction for the board. It's public health, public safety, environmental impact, design is part of the board's review rights, planning. So the board hasn't asked to review anything that's not squarely provided for in the statute.
Okay, so that being said, let's just be clear. Balance of 5,000 remaining for engineering peer review and the design peer review. You know, we're recommending $4,000 and additional funds may be requested for that. And based on our regulations, 7 days to provide that to the zoning board, Mr. Petrozzi. So, Ashley, do you have anything else to add on that?
I would just say that the regulations are the same whether you're in Brookline or Walpole or Foxborough or any other town. So I think the reviews, they've been looked at by town council and by Judy, and it's squarely within your realm here. So I'd support you requesting the funds for the peer review.
Mr. Chairman, how many proposals did you get from peer review consultants on this project?
Ashley, how many did we get?
So we reached out to Cliff Bomer for design, and we reached out to Tetra Tech to give us the scope for the engineering.
So two firms you've selected by preference based on your relationship with them. Is that correct?
question, I'd ask that you direct to the chair, please.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask how the relationships between the two peer reviewers were solicited?
We reached out to them and asked for peer review of this project. And as you know, it does not have to, based on the regulations, it does not have to go out for bid or anything like that. So that was our choosing to go out to these two and get peer review quotes from them.
Based on, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, is that based on a personal relationship that was previously established, or did they inquire?
I don't know either of these firms or people. They have a good reputation in the field, and they were recommended to do the peer review. So,
But
wow.
can I ask who recommended them?
I don't recall who recommended them.
I think council recommended Tetra Tech, if I'm not mistaken, Ashley, and I recommended Davis Square Architects. Is that a problem?
No, not a problem at all. That answers the question, who recommended them. So, okay, so that's where we stand, Mr. Petrozzi. We're trying to move this project along for you, and you know,
I don't see that happening. I don't see us having a public hearing. I don't see us having a presentation. I don't see any kind of movement in the last 6 months of this project moving forward. I don't understand where you're coming from.
okay. As you know, there's a worldwide pandemic going on, and we're not having full public hearings, and people need to be able to attend the public hearings. The state of Massachusetts has said that public hearings are stayed right now. So we're actually trying to move it along with the peer review aspect. So, okay, I'm not going to go back and forth on this anymore tonight. You know, it's in our regulations, 7 days to get the funds provided, and live it to town hall, and we can continue this until September 2nd, which is what I would recommend at this point. Ashley, any guidance on that?
You would just want to do a motion with the roll call vote to continue to 7 p.m. is my guess.
Can I just add one wrinkle? I apologize, Mr. Chair. I had a scheduling conflict on the 2nd of September. If that really inconveniences the board that you had that meeting night all set up, I can figure something out. But if it didn't really matter to you, if you had another meeting available that you could continue this to.
You have that ability. We can have it on August 26th, I believe. Actually, we were talking dates before. Is that the right date? August 26th, it's a Wednesday? You're on mute.
I could do August 26th. It would just depend on the availability of the board.
Okay.
I'm in.
George, are you available on August 26th?
Yes.
Is that okay with other board members?
I'm all set.
Okay, so we'll continue that until August 26th at 7 p.m. Could I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Moved by Dan, second by Jane. Okay, any further discussion on
Boxy twins.
August 26th? So that's a week and 2 days from now. Okay. Okay, that being said, roll call vote. Suzanne Murphy,
Murphy, aye.
Jane Coffey,
Aye.
Bob Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Drew Delaney,
Aye.
and I'm John Lee, aye. So that case will be continued out until August 22nd, which is about 9 days from now.
26.
26.
26, what did I, yeah, August 26th, it's a Wednesday, 7 o'clock, and it will be a Zoom meeting. Okay. Moving on to the next case. Case number 0320, 55SS LLC. This is the Summer Street 40B project. And on this, we we had just to bring people up to date, we had a working group last week, got together, went over some things. I see David Hales here tonight. Some back and forth. The goal is to take a good project, and make it better. And that's where we're coming from, and see how it goes. So we had some do-outs from that, but I just want to bring everybody up to date in the public session here that we did meet, and we're moving forward on some things. Ashley, you were there. Do you have anything to add on that?
No, I thought it was a productive, good first meeting, and I hope that we can continue down that road.
And David Hale, you were there. Obviously, anything to add for the board? You're on mute, David. You're on mute. There you go.
Yep. Sorry about that. It was a good meeting. I think it's been 170 or so days, so to have a dialogue and get some feedback was very much appreciated. And I guess my question is, at the meeting we talked about potentially having a meeting with Tetra Tech and our traffic peer review this week. Is that still possible?
Ashley, where is that?
Yeah, I know that got mentioned, but it wasn't something that we decided on as a group. I'm happy to talk with you offline.
Okay. So for this case, we can continue. We're not going to take any evidence tonight, and continue. We can continue this out to either the September 2nd or the 16th.
Could I just request that we continue it to the same day as Doopy Street to keep it tied together?
We can do that, and I understand for consistency that we keep the two projects together because they're both 40B projects, and that's fine. So,
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
if I may, I feel obligated to once again, for the record, make my objection to continuance of this project into treating it differently and discriminatorily versus non-40B projects. It's wrong, and I think you all know it's wrong. That's all I have to say.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. I disagree with you, but I hear what you say. You put it in the public record, and that's fine.
Okay.
So we'll continue that out until also to August 26th. And this will be could I have a motion to the effect of continuing that out?
So moved.
And moved by Suzanne, second by Jane. Judy or George, do you have any guidance on this?
On which matter, the continuance to the 26th, or the alleged sort of discrimination of 40Bs being treated differently from 48 cases? I'm not sure what you're asking.
No, I'm not even going to address that. Mr. Hale made his point. It's in the public record. I understand his concerns, and that's fine. I respect Mr. Hale's opinion. I disagree with it, but I respect what he has to say. Do you want to say anything about that, or just move on?
No, I think it's just great to keep it moving forward. I thought that work session was great. And, Mr. Hale, I just really appreciated that whole dialogue. So I'd like to see that continue. I think that's probably the most constructive thing you folks can do.
Okay. George, anything?
Nothing to add.
Okay. Board members, any further discussion? And we're just going to roll call vote to continue out until the 26th. Okay. Let's see, looking at my screen. Suzanne Murphy.
Murphy, aye.
Jane Coffey.
Aye.
Bob Fitzgerald.
Aye.
Drew Delaney.
Aye.
I'm John Lee, aye. Okay, so that is continued out. So one thing that we have, the only other things that we have tonight is minutes reviews. We have minutes from July 15th and July 27th, if people have had a chance to review those. These were on, obviously, Zoom meetings. And Ashley, I think you did a good job with them.
Amy did those.
What's that?
Amy did those.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Amy did a good. I'm sorry. Does anybody have any comments, and are people comfortable voting on these for July 15th and 27th?
Yes.
Okay. Could I have a motion to accept the minutes of July 15th, 2020?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Suzanne, second by Jane. Any further discussion on the minutes of July 15th? Hey, Bob, you good with them?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor, say aye. Oh, no, roll call vote.
Murphy, aye.
Okay, Jane Coffey,
Aye.
Bob Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Drew Delaney,
Aye.
and John Lee, aye on that. Okay, next one, the meeting of July 27th. That was our last meeting.
Do you need counsel, John, anymore?
No, sorry, George. Yeah, I'm all, thank you. This is-
I love sitting in, but I just didn't want to still be on the clock if you were done with me. Thanks very much. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, George.
Good night.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Could I have a motion to accept the minutes of July 27th, 2020?
So moved.
Moved by Suzanne, second by Jane. Drew, any comments?
No.
Okay. I always ask Bob, but I'll ask you this time, Drew.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Murphy, aye.
Murphy, aye. Jane Coffey,
Aye.
Bob Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Drew Delaney.
Aye.
I'm John Lee, aye on the minutes. Okay, our next meeting will be, actually, our next meeting is going to be later this week, but these two cases have been continued out until the 26th of this month. Okay, if does anybody, any board members have anything else? Ashley, anything?
Nope, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. I'll see you later.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you.
Move to adjourn.
Yeah, you're right. Hold on. I need to, could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second by Jane. Roll call vote to adjourn. Suzanne Murphy,
Murphy, aye.
Jane Coffey,
Aye.
Bob Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Drew Delaney,
Aye.
and John Lee, aye. Okay, that concludes tonight's meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All Wednesday.